Hello everyone, Chris O'Reilly here with the post-Cologne EHF Final4 intro for you. We had a lot of content, so I thought I'd do a little intro, and before we get into the whole reaction of what was an incredible end to an incredible weekend in Cologne, I don't think we could start without paying our respects to Pavel Kotwica, who so devastatingly passed away during the final, lost consciousness in the second half. A Polish journalist who has been described as an encyclopedia of knowledge on Kielce handball, a real local hero, and everyone, including ourselves, paying our respects, tributes flooding in for the man who, at the age of 51, passed away. And there was a huge pause in the middle of the second half. Anyone who watched it, well, of course you saw what happened. And something we didn't know when we were giving our post-match chat is that Bennett Wiegert, during the pause, actually went up to the referees and the delegates and to Talent Dushabayev, and the Magdeburg coach proposed that they finish the match as it was, with 12 minutes left to play in Magdeburg, 2 goals down, saying there are more important things in life. And Talent replying, bravo, but then we don't recognize our victory. We would just end up with 2 teams being finalists and have no winner. And in this moment of incredible sadness for everyone, just full credit to everyone who responded to the situation in the Lanxess Arena as it happened so quickly, responding to the players and the coaches and everyone involved on the court as well, who had to then somehow get themselves up and ready to go again for those final 12 minutes and then another 10 minutes in extra time, as they went on knowing without knowing anything, actually, because there was no confirmation of what had happened. With that in mind, we move on to what we spoke about yesterday. So we will have a little bit of the post-match reaction in the studio as we were live on the Home of Handball Twitch channel. So we start with a little bit of post-match reaction in the studio with myself, Alex, Andrea Lekic, Bengt, Kunkel, and Adrian Costeiu. And then we go to Alex Kulesh, who was courtside. He was in the best interview spot in the entire arena, as he had the opportunity to speak to players right after the match. He spoke to Kielce's Andreas Wolff first of all, and then went to the champions SC Magdeburg with Matthias Musche, Michael Damgaard, Kai Smits, Nikola Portner, and Gisli Kristjansson. One hell of a lineup. And finally, myself, Alex, and Brian Campion, as we wrap up the weekend in Cologne. Enjoy the show.
Il est passé super l'artiste, super, encore un but sensationnel. That's a brilliant bit of follow-up play by Mahe. Oh my goodness me, what a shot.
Sagosen setter det hen! Han setter den! Vi er i semifinale igjen!
Oh, what a day.
Magdeburg just kept going. And again, the same thing happened in both the semi-final and the final. Brian said that in the semi-final he was right on the court. And the second the whistle went, the Barcelona players were slumped down. Magdeburg players were ready to play that extra time. Same thing happened in the final, where when we went to extra time, you just knew it was going to be Magdeburg that won. Kielce's faces dropped. Their body language changed completely.
It was visible.
Yeah. Because, again, it was almost like the semi-final yesterday with Kielce and PSG. It was between 2 teams that really knew what was at stake to lose rather than to win. And he felt that in the way they played. And also then Kielce in those final minutes, they were like, oh, no, not again. Like, there were 4 goals up.
Yeah.
And... yeah, the body language was like, you could see they looked like a bit like, A bit like Esbjerg when you did it to them in the semi-final, they looked like they were seeing a ghost. Except with Esbjerg, you got them in the last second.
Yep.
For them, Kielce was happening in the last few minutes, and throughout extra time, they were like, "Oh, I don't know what we can do here."
But it was clear to be seen because in the first half, in the last action, the game design, the play was just absolutely amazing, you know.
Yep.
And they left Morita open to score, and then in the second half, they couldn't execute their last play.
Yeah, it's interesting that last play was a completely broken play for Kielce. You know, they had the time, they took the time out, and
We said it was the most important timeout in the history of Kielce.
it could have been. It could have
Yes,
been.
but speaking honestly, the level of the stress now and level of the stress after the first half time, it's you cannot compare it in that way. But
it got to them.
but they had the zero rotation in the second half time. The same 3 back players, zero rotation. When we are speaking about like a physical power, we could also say that Magdeburg was the team which was dominating.
Of zombies.
No? Yeah, but still you can see the style of the game, the level of running and the level of force, what they produced, and the defense was really keeping their players very good. Beziak was having a very nice role on Dushabayev in some crucial moments, and that was
Because
very nice
I think
played.
everyone started to realize as well that Alex was the only one who could score.
Exactly.
Sichko scored 1 from 6, right? It was an amazing goal.
It was an amazing
goal.
scored at a really important time
And
in extra time.
Dushabayev
but-
scored 1 fantastic goal, and Karacic was 0 from 2 or something. He was playing well, but he wasn't scoring. But can I just ask you, like in that situation you mentioned, they were a man up, right? And they're trying to get that last goal, but we saw it with Magdeburg as well. Even when you're a man up, you're talking about the pressure situation. That space doesn't appear anymore.
I agree. I completely agree with you. They just didn't do it well. It's very obvious that they didn't reflect very good on the very high defense of Magdeburg in one moment. So they didn't find solution. But from the other point of view, they were stopped. The defense of Magdeburg was really reacting very nice on Alex, especially after he was completely stopped. One moment he was the only one who was pulling the team. Wolff on the goal, he was scoring, assisting. He obviously also needed the help.
Yeah, and that's what Gisli Kristjansson said to me after the game. He said that their defense, Magdeburg's defense, was taking away the pressure from the attack because the defense was working so well because that they knew that they didn't have to score every single time, and that drops the pressure a little bit, and that then it's more comfortable. Then they can score.
And Portner also. In a very crucial moments and very important when you have this wall behind you, then the self-confidence is on a very high level.
And especially how he managed to turn the tie around in his favor, because when we look at the first half, Magdeburg had a horrible statistics
something like this.
for the goalies. Three saves. Portner had 1. He had 1 save from like 9 or 10 shots or something. That was just you can watch those statistics without feeling pain in your heart. But then he just stepped up to have
them.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But then he stepped up in the second half to have such a great game.
But after this penalty, I think everything went better in a better way. I could say really when you see Portner went inside penalty, he stayed on the goal after that, and after that is a fairy tale for Magdeburg for sure.
Turning point, that save.
Yeah.
And Christian O'Sullivan, can we talk about Christian O'Sullivan?
You mean Mr.
Two red cards.
He will be on all the quizzes from now on.
Obviously, we missed you.
Well, what actually happened? It was a faulty substitution.
It was a
at the
faulty
end.
substitution. So that was pretty mad. So so Kai Smits was running off, and then because it was a fast break for Kielce down the other side, and O'Sullivan's ready to come on. Smits was supposed to come off, and then Smits just goes whoop. He's like, no, I'm staying on, and O'Sullivan was like ready to go. Basically, one more step, he would have been off. He went and he did the turn, and O'Sullivan went with him. So it was like in a relay where it goes bad.
That literally happened to me last weekend in literally the exact same moment. But the interesting part about it as well is I noticed that Magdeburg were doing a very interesting thing with their substitutions, the defense-offense, because they would always bring the goalkeeper to the sideline.
That happens for 2 years now. That's been happening,
So they bring him to the side, and it gives time, so it reduces the risk of a faulty substitution.
It's O'Sullivan and Beziak all the time, yeah.
Exactly, and that means that you have a bit of time. 2 players can basically walk onto the court. But they were a player down already.
Yeah, so it's coming the other way,
they were a player down and they'd taken out their goalkeeper.
Yeah.
So I think in their minds they were kind of doing their normal
doing the
switch.
match, almost like in beach handball. It's like you're 1, 2, 3 coming on and off, but
they were missing a player because he got it 2 minutes.
playing the
so he
moving
ran on. Yeah, and still somehow, with a player down, they got it to extra time.
Somehow Gisli goes 1-on-1. Somehow he does the miracle.
Each and every time, and especially I feel like it was when he came on the first 10-15 minutes, they let him do, but afterwards they started pushing him.
But
they
how many
pushing him
contacts
real
did
hard.
they have, like with Karalek and with Tuna, and it was...
Oh, also I think the first time when he came on, that sneaky little fecker, Miguel Sanchez Miguelon, he was like, I'm going to leave an elbow in here just to see if that face works, you know? And I was like, if there's one guy who does that, it's Miguel Sanchez Miguelon. He's a little bit of a sheeposh in there.
He was the grassroots program chief.
Did you ask? I didn't hear your chat with Gisli. Did you ask him about his general health?
Yeah, so he confirmed to me that his shoulder was dislocated.
Oh my gosh.
And though he said he was absolutely full of painkillers.
Yeah. Wow.
And he couldn't move his arm above 90 degrees.
It looked like it, yeah.
And every shot was basically
bowling.
Who needs power?
Exactly.
But I said the same. He doesn't need a power. He jumps to a goalkeeper. It's just throw it there.
And then he just went for a bowling strike, and he managed to get all 10.
The replays of Andy Wolff just looking like, again! He just like sells him with the eyes. He puts him in one corner and he's like...
But this is hardest to defend. These shoes, they don't exist indeed.
Oh, God.
Exactly.
He was inventing the shoot.
The goalkeeper is not ready for those type of shots. They don't practice those type of
no one
saves.
can practice this.
So it's like,
Note to self for future, maybe.
But it's like in lower level handball, you put like your worst player on the right wing with the right hand, and then you put a good goalkeeper against this poor player on the right hand on the right wing. He'll score because he's just doing something weird. And unfortunately for Wolff, he couldn't figure Kristjansson out at all, despite having a really, really good game. And I think he really kept him in at the very start, especially when Magdeburg made that jump. They made their lead at the start. I think it was 4-1. Yeah. And it could have been even more, except Wolff was making really big saves. And you have to applaud his performance despite over the whole weekend, I think.
Yeah, but where's the MVG award gone? Most valuable goalkeeper. That there used to be one of those. He got that.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It's really sad in games like that when you have Andreas Wolff and Alex Sushabayev that somebody has to lose. It's just the whole. I wonder, like, from watching last year's defeat to this year's defeat, also the feelings for the players, the Kielce players, seemed very different as well. Whereas last year it was penalty heartbreak, which is a whole other thing. But this time it was just like the devastation of another.
I think it's worse.
Another year,
Definitely.
And it's like this was ours. This
you know how it is, Andrea?
Put the sad music in the background. Yes, I do.
How many times have they made that joke this weekend?
But it's very hard.
Yeah.
It's very hard.
Overall, I think the fans today were on a different level compared to yesterday. I didn't quite realize how many Magdeburg supporters or how loud they could be. You know, this in the final they had songs, they had constant chants and variations, and they did it's a German kind of fan tradition, you know, when one side of the arena shouts and then the other side of the arena shouts, and I think
call it Wechselgesang. I don't even think that there's an English word for it, is it? Wechselgesang. So Wechsel, just like changing chant.
Okay,
the switching like chant, which is a favorite of mine. Actually, my first experience of that chant was when I went to a football game in Munich, and it was 1860 Munich versus Dortmund, and
that has to be a long time ago.
It was a while ago. It was at Oktoberfest, so everyone was in a really good mood, and the switching chant the switching chant in that situation was
But without a bit.
Scheiße zu Bayern. And then the Dortmund fans would sing Scheiße zu Bayern. It was a combining moment for both teams.
Not a good end of the season for Dortmund. No,
The foe of my foe is my friend, or something like that, something in that direction.
Yeah, the atmosphere is fantastic, and also the Kielce fans at the end, like they have such knowledge of the sport as well. They're really respectful of the situation. Like their team, again, a devastating loss, but their support and sticking around as well for the whole ceremony. Like they, even on the walkout here as well, to hear them, you know, it's pure kind of positivity towards their team and everything they've done. But oh my God, you're gonna have to start thinking like, is this ever gonna happen for Kielce again?
And then also PSG, also they should think at least Kielce won it once.
Yes,
So
exactly.
for them, I think it's even worse.
It's PSG. That was a bloody terrible game today. I'm sure you talked about that already.
Let's not talk about that.
We skipped it on purpose.
So what do Kielce need to do
win the final.
No, but like, what do they need to change to win a final? What is their what's their missing piece?
I think it's very difficult to pinpoint.
Yeah, but I think they should have a bigger rotation. It's very hard to.
I think their backcourt. I think their backcourt is
except Alex today.
Wait, you think about how the backcourt started this season, okay?
Yeah,
So
how much of an impact?
Alex Dushabayev and Nedim Remili
Remili.
at right back.
Yes.
They had Haukar Thrasterson as another centre back behind Karacic. Olenicek as another one, but he could only play in defence today. And then they had Sichko, and I mean, when it doesn't work for him, then Dushabayev usually is one to fill in. But again, if neither of them work, then maybe you can put Karacic out there and you have someone like Thrasterson or Olenicek in
Igor
the
was a
middle.
long time on the bench today.
Yeah.
Like I thought even that he was injured in
Right.
one moment.
Yeah.
Because I was like, okay, it doesn't go, so there is no flow. They are having obviously a problems to organize the attack, and I was missing him somehow on the court.
No. It became surprisingly like, oh, they're not actually so deep anymore. So for a team we used to joke about, they've bought every left back in Europe for the next 10 years. All of a sudden they don't have a left back.
Yeah,
No goals from there.
No goals.
yeah. But how much do you like Remy Lee, him leaving and going to Veszprem? How much of an impact do you think he could have made?
Could have made because
Well, he could have played in the centre.
Yeah,
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Plays this. Yeah,
He played a lot for France in this. I think he was also the best centre back, the All-Star centre back at the Olympic Games, right in Tokyo.
Yeah.
So I think that could have been a good change. But
I, for me personally, I think he could have been the difference maker because he is a person who can get you a goal, and he will get you a goal. Sichko and Danny Dushabayev couldn't do it. I don't think I've ever seen a match where Remili doesn't eventually get there, and that's it. It's about that extra level, the same way as like Alex Dushabayev will always get there. I think Remili is to that level, and it wasn't working perfectly at the start of the season for Kielce.
And think about the players they had last year as well. They had Branko Vujovic at right back, another right back, and they had Vladislav Kulesh, your namesake, Alex, at left back, who then has gone off to the Bundesliga in the meantime. It just... Yeah, I mean, it's easy to say these things now. It's over.
Usually we are all smart after.
Yeah, exactly. Hindsight is 2020.
Yeah, it is.
But I guess the thing you could say based on what happened today was like there was that killer instinct that just wasn't there, because that penalty miss, you said it was the big turning point. It could have been if that penalty went in, then maybe there was no inspirational comeback.
Exactly.
Maybe Portner doesn't make any more saves, and then it's a 6-goal win.
It's crazy when you think about that one situation can decide the whole match and can be like such a psychological advantage that it's unbelievable that moment.
Yeah.
But also for Sichko, this year has been terrible. With Poland in the World Championship.
No.
Alex a month ago said he was the best player in the world.
I love that perspective from you to Alex.
Take him on, Alex. Come on. Defend your man.
You're saying he's had a tough season, maybe, but
Terrible.
he has
I said
been...
terrible.
Just put the elbow in his ribs.
Potentially, like...
Be a Spanish.
he's been one of their best players.
Gisli.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He's...
Push come to shove.
Yeah, it's true. It's that limitation. He has a
Poland,
limitation.
Yeah. With Poland, I think he's been the top scorer in the World Championship, but Poland have been absolutely crap. That's the true word, because everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. And here in the final, 1 from 6, you said. Right?
Yeah, but that doesn't make for a bad season.
It's not a bad
He's had a great season.
He was the best player in the quarterfinal for
2023.
Yeah, tough
Bad
Final
season.
Four.
Okay.
So what is that? 4 from 14 this weekend.
Not a good one.
It's not a good one.
So a terrible Final Four.
Terrible Final Four for sure.
That's a great
that is for sure. Yeah, disappointed.
You know, being a player here between you and then I feel really sorry sometimes.
Yeah.
It's like, it's really hard
Yeah.
in one way. You know, I think they just have the hardest moments for
Yeah,
sure.
of course.
But it's a pure truth from the other point of view.
Yeah.
We should be realistic.
Yeah.
And
It's not with bad blood or something like that.
No, I know, but it is very
Yeah,
hard.
of course.
I think the things that you just like look yourself in the mirror and you're like,
Yeah,
if you are realistic enough,
Yeah,
you're
but
gonna
no.
say,
For example,
I was
he
not
was
good.
he was also playing for Poland in the World Championship,
Yeah.
and that is very difficult. It was heartbreaking to see them fail, and even the fans didn't come to Krakow for their games.
But you have to fail. You have to fail. That's how it is. So if you want to succeed in this, you have to fail.
Last year it came down to literally one shot that makes the difference, and that was Alex Dushabayev. He came back this year and was on the verge of being the MVP and leading the team.
I think one of the greatest final performances of all time, Alex Dushabayev. What did he have in the end? He had
8 from 9.
A great 40 minutes final
7
performance.
assists. So he got us close to a double-double in handball. So I've seen.
I would really like to see the statistic in
We've been pushing the Quinn double, so 5 goals, 5 assists, or
That's
sexy
the
6,
equivalent.
6 and 6.
Yeah, 6 and 6. That's the equivalent in terms.
You've had a few of those in your days.
But he had he almost had a quintuple in the first half. He had 6 goals and 4 assists. And then the great thing is he did keep going.
But do you think that people are talking about assists enough in handball?
No.
Agreed.
No, it's
only about
We are starting with it right now, right today.
Hey, if you're new, Bengt, right? So we've been talking about it for years.
Yeah, but it's only about.
Well, I'm sorry.
So you have 206 episodes to listen back to next year.
Yeah, well, no worries. I'm
You're
done
gonna
tomorrow.
catch it up.
because I think in handball assists are actually even more than other sports, because a lot of the assists are very clear opportunities, and really when it's counted, it's when it's an absolutely clear opportunity that's given to the attacker that's then found. So it takes a lot. It's kind of 80% of the work.
I completely agree with you, but this is underrated thing. People are just talking about the scorer.
Yeah.
And that's how it is when you finish every comment after the match. We're only talking about the
Goals.
The goals.
Don't worry, Andrea. I'll count your
for me
assists.
it's okay. I'm used
personally.
to it. It's for some other generations. I really would like them to appreciate more the assists, because this is a really maybe for me even one of the most beautiful parts of our game.
It is almost time to wrap up.
Yeah.
Oh, days.
Yeah.
Where's Brian Campion?
Yeah, Brian Campion may never arrive, but how about we go around and each person tells us their favorite.
Who's going to win the final?
Magdeburg, Gisli, Kristjansson going to take the MVP.
Tell me your favorite moment of the whole weekend.
Damgaard.
And a specific moment with Damgaard.
59-57, Barca Blažians shoots. Damgaard basically flies, blocks the shot. Magdeburg are in the extra time.
Amazing
Right
moment.
Yeah.
Can I agree with him?
No, you need to pick another.
No. We agreed on
But really,
Thursday.
it was the
Vargas.
very same one. Yeah.
But no, I think we had enough magic moments this weekend that you are going to find a second one. I'm on
for me
Alex's
also
side there.
was saved penalty in the penalty shot. So yeah, that would be also a beautiful moment to get a victory for your own team.
Yeah, most definitely. I was always, of course, thinking about that Damgaard save as well. Maybe Nikola Portner having his personal Damgaard moment, saving the last shot in the very last second to get Magdeburg into overtime.
One 1 moment, not 7.
Well, at least
Who needs Brian Campion?
Brian,
Because you're doing Brian's job, choosing 7 things for one answer. Brian, choose a favorite player this week. Oh well, there's 14 choices.
Well, but I mean, it was only one. I only named one moment, and in the meantime,
I felt you were going to go for more.
no, it's fine.
Chris,
So,
what's your one?
just a sec. I want to activate the chat that you can put in your moment as well, and you guys are allowed to agree with us.
For me, it was Marco Bezjak in extra time. Just
I could agree. Yeah.
One man down, 2 men down. Who have they got left?
Yeah.
I thought, maybe Philip Weber, or maybe for the first time in about 3 years, Marco Bezjak will get to play an attack.
That was actually Gisli Kristjansson's favorite moment of the weekend.
Oh, was it?
He said it to me.
Because what a great guy to have in that situation, because the way he plays, like you can see all season long, I've commentated a lot of their games this season. He's such he's been held back so much by being a defender. He loves going into transition attacks, and he's just like,
Give me the ball.
give me the ball. And come on. It's something holding him back from doing something stupid every time. It's like, I want to shoot from 10 meters. But then he got a chance to play properly. And, he may not have the speed he once had, but his brain was brilliant. And even today, we saw it at times. He didn't get a goal, but he created some great chances for himself and the teammates. And he was the right guy to start the game today. And he was the right guy to finish the game yesterday. So, yeah, for me, he's like my low-key favorite surprise player of the weekend.
I think he would win the Swiss Army knife if we had this award.
Yeah.
My
Question
moment
back to you, yeah.
My moment was actually the equalizer in normal time by Kai Smits in the semi-final. Because for one, I was right there. I was right on the court.
For the 22-22, right?
And really on the flash zone, looking at him, I couldn't quite see everything that was going on, but the shot went in right on my side, so I saw it right in front of me, and the energy in the arena was at this incredible level, and my nerves were all over the place. But I was just so impressed at that movement. And just correct me if I'm wrong, because
You're wrong.
It was all a blur for me. But Magdeburg were a player down in that attack, or did they?
No, they played 7v6.
They played 7 and 6.
You're wrong.
They played 7 and 6, but they took the risk with the 7 on 6, and they had to get it perfect.
And Damgaard played it perfectly.
Damgaard played it perfectly. He played it around to Smits, and Smits had all the space in the world to score, and it was a real punch, and that really. I think there's a recording of me reacting to that moment where my mind was blown. So that was my moment.
Kai Smits is going to Flensburg next season.
Why are you so devastated about it?
No, I mean, it's just like that is one of those decisions where, and Andrea, you have a better insight into this than we do, but that was a decision.
Question.
That was a decision made before the injury,
He
right?
didn't play at all.
And he
That's
wasn't
a completely
playing,
normal decision.
And he was looking to make it a career move, on paper, perfect. But I mean, for him, I think it's still a great thing for the future. But Magdeburg must also, for the last few months, have been devastated that they let him go.
But the question is, when Omar Ingi comes back.
True. But who would you prefer?
I like Kai, but both are completely unbelievably good players. It's
too good to be in the same team.
It's beautiful.
Yeah,
but that's beautiful. And
team.
you have a very long competition in the league. You have a Champions League. You always need two good players on each position. But I completely understand him. I would choose the same. If you're not playing at all, not getting any chances, indeed, because Omar Ingi was playing most of the matches. So he didn't get even a decent minutes. But then you see how everything turns around. You start playing like a crazy, the season from the dreams, and Champions League in the pocket.
20 goals this weekend.
Yeah.
Not 23.
Not 23.
Almost 23.
No.
But I'm happy for him. I know he's such a hard worker, so I'm really happy.
And Mihai's saying there, Pitlick, Jim Gottfriedson, assuming he's staying in. I mean, he said today, I think, in the arena, he's staying in Flensburg. There was a bit of discussion about that.
Well, he said that he wants to be fit for the start of the season again, so I do think...
He also said he wants to go to Cologne. He's not doing that next season with Flensburg.
That's not going to happen,
maybe in the German Cup final. But yeah, Pitlick, Gottfriedson, and Kai Smits that's a
Can't wait
that's
to
a
see this one.
hell of a backcourt.
Yeah.
So yeah, good times.
Good times in the European League for Flensburg. Kai Smits. Kai Smits, a Champions League champion.
I think Kai is pretty relaxed now.
He'll be fine. Yeah,
going to a league with the Champions League trophy. It's
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love that. I think, was it Kai Smits that was saying that it was his dream? No, it was Mikkel Damgaard. It was like, it was his dream to win the Champions League.
To drink a beer.
But
The first one,
remember
the first of the season.
But it was his dream.
Oh, are we getting to the interesting stories now?
But it was his dream to win the Champions League, and he's achieved this, so he has to think of some new dreams, is what he said. And I think that goes for a lot of the Magdeburg team. They have to think of some new dreams.
Yeah, it's basically the same dream.
It's the winning.
It's basically the same dream.
Well, but I mean, talking about the departures of Magdeburg, not just Smits is leaving. They do have Mike Jensen leaving. They do have Shrapkowski leaving, and 2, 3, 4 other players leaving. Marco Bezjak, just to name few. There is going to be something happening this summer in Magdeburg.
But it's okay to refresh the squad after this such a huge historical success. Then you are forming some new squads, some new atmosphere, some new players are coming in, getting some other systems also for the other players. And for me, that's a really good thing for them, by the way. So they will have to get used to each other. The new challenges are in front of them for sure. But that's the beauty of this sport.
Albin Lagergren, will he be able to fill the gap?
I think he'll be a good enough replacement.
Number 2. Right?
Number 2. That's what he's needed to do. Magnusson will be back next season, and he's just an incredible player. And I think actually Magnusson and Smits are very similar players. They're dynamic. They go outside a lot. Lagergren is a little bit different. So if anything, they could give them a bit more optionality in that backcourt. He's a bit more of a shooter, he's but yeah, Smits, I didn't ask him that. I forgot that it was his last game for Magdeburg, but that would have probably broken his heart if I told him that. He probably forgot in the moment.
Maybe tomorrow.
Yeah.
What are you doing next season, Andrea?
You see this green color on you?
Yeah. Staying with it.
Still love it.
Okay.
Great.
Moving to
That is
V4.
great news.
No. Good. I'm glad. Good for you.
Have you ever had thoughts about ending it all and putting a point into no, not in that way. Putting a point under your career, saying leaving the handball court once and forever.
Have a distance from me a little bit. This is at least what I can do. Yeah.
Getting the tough questions out.
Oh, the problem is I get it all the time.
Actually,
The answer is that of course everyone is thinking about this. That's also a normal part of our. You're just getting more and more prepared psychologically, I think, for this. Physically feeling very good. That's very important for me, and I was feeling also very good now on the court. So not ready still to answer on this question, but for sure that I am thinking about this. But this doesn't cause
10 years or so.
Yeah, but this doesn't cause me any issues. I'm really feeling very nice on the court.
Katrina is playing at 43, so.
Exactly, but she is unique. I have to say, don't compare to Katrina. So yeah, it's. I think I answered you.
I think
He's just being better
I
and
think
better.
we might have to get used
save
to a
it?
Twitch studio without Andrea Lekic because
Time to kick you all out.
I think we can wrap up. Well, we'll have a few minutes with Brian Campion.
Yes.
But you guys are free to go.
Share your,
But
your final words.
Or do you not want to leave? Or do you not want to
Can I
leave?
say that I'm really thankful for sharing these days with you? I really enjoyed. I hope that you guys also enjoyed watching us and listening our comments. I hope that we were enough productive. Let's see. But it was a memorable weekend for me, especially just jumping in some other role, and I completely enjoyed. And you made my, let's call it a beautiful job easier. So yeah, thanks once again.
I saw the Magdeburg team. They lay down for the first time after winning 2 extra time matches. Now they can celebrate. Their bodies are probably broken, but their minds have always stayed strong. And that's how they won today. They have broken teams with their mental strength. The gold medals have been given out. They are champions. As Kielce leave the court. Absolute heartbreak for Kielce today. I don't know, it seemed like Kielce had the time to do it. They could have done it. They're heartbroken, but they're champions as well. They've been amazing this season. Kielce have been a top team. They had it by centimeters, both in normal time and in extra time. As the players go off the court, they're going to have one hell of a party in this city tonight. You could just feel, I don't know, I didn't quite realize the support that Magdeburg had at this Final Four in the semi-final, because the arena was loud, there was cheering, but there was an extra level today. The fans didn't stop chanting for the whole game, and they brought that energy, and they just know that this team's not going to give up, so the fans can't give up. I think, this backcourt of Damgaard, Smits, and the Terminator himself, Gisli Kristjansson. Every single shot that Kristjansson took was with his arm down here, and I'm pretty sure he lifted the trophy, so his arm's feeling still good enough to lift the trophy. Again, looking at the team, they were just in shock. I don't think, deep down they all believed that they could win. Deep down they knew that they were the team that was going to challenge anyone. They beat Barcelona. They were coming against Kielce. They were the two best teams in this competition. Magdeburg have been excellent in the competition, but it was really Barcelona and Kielce who were the top dogs in this competition, and Magdeburg took both of them out. And you could see that with the players, because it was relief. I think it was relief and an emotional release from the Magdeburg players, where for the first time they could actually sit down. And they're not going to be sitting for long, I think. As much as their bodies hurt, as much as their little injuries, their big injuries are going to slow them down, they're going to party tonight. They're going to celebrate with their fans. I think there's some great characters. It was actually Marco Brejak who was really leading the celebration in backstage when everyone was exhausted. And it was 36-year-old Marco Brejak who had the energy to spin around a bottle of water, jump on some people. So the man is just amazing. Just amazing. Hi. Andy, a few moments. Congratulations on the Final Four. I say congratulations because your performance in both the semi-final and the final were incredible.
First of all, of course, congratulations to SC Magdeburg, and especially Coach Gisli Kristjansson, who amazingly played, who pulled his team to victory, even he had a luxation of his shoulder. That's my biggest respect for him, and me personally, I feel pretty empty. I'm disappointed. I don't know how I feel about the fact that we twice in a row play in the final, twice in a row we have the ball in the last attack, and we're unlucky we don't score, and therefore we in the second time in a row lose the final and have to live with this silver medal.
The message from Talent throughout the weekend was to stay calm and stay focused, and I think you did that. I think, do you feel like at least you executed your plan over the weekend as you can?
Honestly, for me it's a pretty tough analysis right now, because I don't even know what to think about this game. Honestly, I'd say that our plan didn't resolve as we expected or as we wanted it to be, because we lost. Of course, I'm proud of the team. We showed character, and we lost against a great team. That is no doubt. There's no doubt. That's not a question. But in the end, we wanted to win the Champions League. We made a promise last year that we'll come back and that we'll do it better. And basically, we did the same again.
But you'll make the promise for next year. You're going to win it.
Yes, of course.
Commiserations. Have a good time. A slight surprise interview with Andreas Wolff there. I wasn't quite expecting to have him, but Matthias, what an incredible game. What an incredible team. How do you feel after that?
I have no feelings, really. I'm completely tired. I'm empty in my head, and I want to sit down now in the locker room and want to calm down. Yeah, to understand what happened here. It's crazy, but it's a dream since our childhood. I don't know how to say in English.
Keep going. You're doing great.
It was a dream, and now it comes true. And
was there a moment after the victory, or has it hit you yet? Do you realize that you are the champion of the Champions League? Has it hit you yet? Was it when the music went out? Was it when you lifted the trophy?
Yeah, the moment when the game was finished, it was like, blah. But when we heard we are the champions from Green, then it was great, and I understood. Okay, we have it.
You are the champions, and congratulations. Enjoy the evening. Oh, amazing emotion straight away. Mikkel, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
You are a Champions League winner.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
It's a good feeling, right?
Yeah, it's actually yesterday was tougher for me emotionally. I still can't imagine what happened right now for us. Crazy.
And for you personally, you had a season and you got an opportunity to come into the team in a bigger role as the season went on, and you just showed it in this weekend. You were on fire. Did your confidence build as the season go on?
No, actually not. I practice every day. I got a lot of support from my family at home to leave them alone sometimes. My wife doing an amazing job and give me also the time I can have to do my work or to do my things to keep me in shape. Because even though you're not playing, you have to be ready for every minute, every second. And I think that I really, because of the hard work I laid into it before, I took it with here to this tournament, and I gave everything. But everyone for this team, we did everything for each other. The defense in the end was crazy. It was amazing to watch. It made it so easier for us in the offense to like have a little bit more chill. So there was not that big pressure. We did not have to score every attack. What they did the last 50 minutes, and our goalkeepers and everyone, it was amazing. And now I have to make new dreams for myself now, because now I just won the Champions League. It was so long away from me in the beginning of the season, and yeah, it's crazy. Now I have 4 weeks to like build some new dreams, build some new ambitions, build some new goals, and then we will see next season. I'm really looking forward to it.
Amazing. And I have to say, you scored the first goal in both the semi-final and the final for your team. You came out from the start with power. You made this happen.
Yeah, it's just, as I said, to be a part of this, team, to contribute to start in the Champions League final. I think I will cry a lot tonight, but together with my teammates.
Yeah, I'll give you a nice dream right now that you can imagine. Your dream will be to get in a few beers this evening and celebrate with your team.
Without doubt. I will have one of my first beer this season, because now we have something to really celebrate.
Absolutely. Congratulations. Amazing performance. Have a great evening. Nikola Damgaard, one of the players of this EHF Final4 final. He was just, I asked him the question about him coming out and scoring the first goal, because it really felt that it was a chance for him. This Champions League final, he was even, not imagining, he's saying himself that he wasn't imagining starting in a Champions League final, because in the rotation he was a little bit earlier in the season, but he came into this Final Four with in great shape, in great focus, and you could see that straight away with his goals from the very start. Kai, we meet again, but this time you are a Champions League winner.
Yes.
Can you believe it?
Not yet. It was the goal from the beginning. It's a boy's dream. So it feels still surreal, and I don't know if I believe it, but it's true. I have the gold medal, we have the gold medal, we have the fucking trophy, so we fucking did it.
You did it, and here's the trophy. Can we get the trophy in the camera with Kai? And I don't know if you might know this, but the medal you have is actually one of the empty nets directly cut out of this trophy, so you can find your own medal fitted in there. I don't care. It's a gold trophy. It's a gold.
Both are gold, and that's what we wanted. It's Jesus, it looks beautiful.
It does look beautiful. Well, enjoy the trophy, enjoy the evening, and congratulations.
Thank you.
You were an absolute star this weekend.
Thank you.
Nikola, I saw you after the game because when you went out from the court, and I could see the emotion straight away. It was just, what was your feelings right in that moment?
I don't know what to say after something like that. You know, I thought my parents, when I was 9 years old, when they took me for the first time to practice, and it paid off. You know, it's the second one in the family. It's the fifth one. I mean, I don't know. It's just crazy. My father started the journey. I have the privilege and the honor to stand also here with the gold medal for the second time. It's my first season in Germany, my first season with Magdeburg, and being able to deliver as a team like we did during the whole year is crazy. I had like my whole life going through my mind in those couple of seconds, but I thought of my family as first.
Amazing. And you, so you previously won it with Montpellier, of course, and you know they're two. Magdeburg this weekend, Montpellier back then, underdogs was the story. Do you like that role of underdog?
Yeah, but it's always tough. We knew that we can win more than lose, but still, I mean, when you're here, you fought the whole season. 2 games left, all in. We don't want to have regrets after the tournament because it's a whole it's a whole journey which starts from middle of July. When you're here, you still have that small pressure because it's a unique chance. With Montpellier, we were back then 2018, and I said to the guys, you never know when you will be here again, if you will be here again, so just enjoy the moment, and thank God we made it somehow. Crazy.
And just a last question, just on your performance in the game, you started off a little bit slower, but you came back in the second half. What was going through your mind as you prepared yourself to come back in and win?
First of all, I was mad at myself because things didn't went like I planned and how I prepared things. But I have to say that the Kielce played really well, and they were finding easy shots and easy goals also. So I had a bit of problems personally, but yeah, it was a bit the same story as yesterday. I knew that, every goalkeeper story is like that. You know that with maybe 2 saves you can come back and bounce and turn around the game and switch the momentum to your side and to your team side. So I'm happy that at the end I could have helped the team.
Amazing. And very last question.
Go on.
You did. You're just here speaking so well.
We're here.
Very last question. You didn't want penalties, did you?
No. It was. It's a small story, but yesterday after the game, we said to ourselves it was the 4th time this season we played extra time, and just someone whispered, and we'll play one tomorrow again. We said, come on, man, it's a bit too much. But at the end of the day, really, 5th extra time, 4 out of 5 this year in extra time. Crazy.
Amazing. Well, finally, I'll leave you to continue your celebrations. Congratulations.
He likes to talk a lot.
I like it. Gisli, how's the shoulder? I won't shake your hand because you tell us, how did you muster up the energy to come back into this final?
I think it was not difficult to. I wanted, of course, so much to play, because of this atmosphere here, our fans, and I just felt it yesterday how much we wanted to win this thing, and I was not sure this morning if I could play or not. My shoulder, I have so many painkillers and a lot of things inside of me that are drawing the pain down, but it's all worth it.
Yeah. And sticking with your shoulder, you scored a lot of goals, but I don't think your arm went above here. Every shot was just, you had the momentum and you did it. Was that something conscious or literally just a limit to your body?
It was literally my limit. Even with the painkillers, I think I could not get my shoulder above 90 degrees. But it's all worth it. It's all worth it, and I could not care less how I scored. The thing is, we won. This is one of the best moments of my life. I've never felt so joy in I don't know how long time, but it was one of my greatest moments in my life, for sure.
Amazing, and for you as well. You worked so hard to get to make this Final Four, to come back from it. You did that, and then kept going. But that just defines this team. From my perspective, I kept saying that this team just never stops. It keeps getting hit, but keeps going. Is that a mentality that you have as a team?
Yeah, for sure. When I dislocated my shoulder yesterday, and the guys did all get even closer together. How everybody, it doesn't matter who steps up. Like yesterday, Marco Besiak showed a masterclass in how to be a playmaker, and it was such a joy for me to see this fantastic guy, and I'm so grateful that we're saying this kind of goodbye to him, and it's just the mentality of this team is just such, it's so great, and I can't describe it.
Yeah, I have to tell you, we gave you a nickname this weekend, the nickname, and the nickname was Zombie Magdeburg, because you have arms falling off, pieces falling off, but you're still going, never stop, and you went right to the end and won the Champions League. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Keep going. Enjoy the evening. And at this stage, I've interviewed about 6 players, so I think that's enough for me. And we'll go back into the truck for a bit more review. Amazing emotions from the players. All of them are in shock, but all of them are overjoyed, telling us their dreams. This is a dream come true for everyone, even me being on this court.
All right. One last stretch.
Here we are now.
Here on the Twitch.
Sweep it up. Sweep up.
It's like at a pub at the end of the night, and it's just the people you can't quite get rid of yet. Still
us.
chatting.
This is the lock-in.
This is the lock-in.
With really bad takes.
Yeah.
And never stop talking. So, Chris, are you delighted?
Hello, Brian.
Are you delighted that I've pressured you into that prediction?
I'm really
because I don't think you were going to go say it.
Well, only I know the answer to that. And, well, it would be a bad story if I said I was never going to go for them. But, we have this tactic always that generally we try to cover the bases. So, and you were right, though. I mean, it would be completely horrendous if after all these years, we've been doing this podcast for almost 6 years, and I think at the beginning of every single season, I've tipped Magdeburg to do great things, usually in the Bundesliga. And there were turning points today. But there was a real turning point a few months ago when we did our midterm review of the EHF Champions League. And we kind of collectively realized, I think it was Alex who made the point, he was like, you know what? Magdeburg are actually going to probably go on and win this now. This is the same guy who then a couple of months later said their season is over. But
hey,
that's the kind of season it's been, where they've gone through quite literally the ups and downs in both games here as well this weekend, and they came out on top of it. I think always a nice thing to do. So we've talked about some things with the gang here, but you have one of the most unique perspectives on not just the game, but the whole event with your job as a content creator and running around the arena, getting all sweaty and capturing moments and vibes and the atmosphere. What is your takeaway from today in the final?
I think I definitely noticed a huge difference in how bent Vigert was on during the game. I mean, in the semi-final, he was very fiery, very yappy, chatting a lot. And I mean, that's his style. He was doing that today as well. But he definitely reined it back in at certain points. And I think that had effect on the side as well. Like there was a point where, who got, was it Michael Damgaard? No, Kristjansson when he got sent off.
Yeah, the red card.
Yeah. And that was a point probably where yesterday he might have lost his head and he was calming everyone else down. So I think maybe he was bitten yesterday with that 2 minutes he got and almost messed everything up. And today I think he was trying to cool it a little bit. And I think they needed that because they could have really lost their heads at certain points in that game.
I think that's a great perspective, and it's just reminded me of something of even yesterday, because he did lose his cool and got that second yellow card and 2 minute suspension, but in every single timeout he was Mr. like positive feedback and giving like these messages to them where, you know, he was saying, okay, this is what's going to happen and this is what we're going to get from it throughout the game. And every timeout it was like, here are the tactics and here's some positivity for you. I thought about it also at the start of extra time yesterday in the semi-final. He was like 2 times 5 minutes and then we're in the final. And we saw in extra time the 5 minutes they had preparing for that today. Kielce they were all motivation, all like passion. It's like no tactics, just like, lads, we got to fucking do this. We got to drag it out. Look at Magdeburg, 5 whole minutes of everyone just sitting around calmly and Bennett Wiegert laying out the plans basically for the entire 10 minutes, I guess. It was like, first, this is how we're going to get out of being a man down for the next 40 seconds. And then we do this and then we do that. And it was just so, for such a fiery character, he kind of pulled it out of the bag.
Yeah, he knew when to rein it in.
Yeah, impressive.
And I mean, what a story for the MVP. I mean, that's just...
It's absolutely incredible.
That's a fairy tale, isn't it?
It is. He was just out of this world.
And the quickest comeback from a shoulder dislocation and concussion I've ever seen in my life.
I've no idea how he did it.
Yeah.
Yesterday, Alex was making fun of him. He was saying, oh, he passed out after a shoulder dislocation. Not me. Yeah. I've had 14 of them. Well, Alex, now, there's the new standard to be set.
He absolutely destroyed all my masculinity by showing up and playing in that final. And the way it was actually towards the end of the game, end of the second half and in extra time, he just kept being the fearless player that he is. He kept going one-on-one against fucking Tomasz Gambala, like the biggest man on the court. He's looked into his eyes and said, I have you. And he wasn't scared of being hit by these absolute monsters in the Kielce defense. And literally in extra time, every time he went in, he got hit, he fell down, and he touched his shoulder because he was probably in agony.
Still there.
If you take away all of that adrenaline, his body was in agony.
When I was backstage before the game, he was there. He did an extra long warm-up outside the dressing room in the corridor with the physio. And the physio was doing all this kind of like, he had his eyes closed and he was just touching his arm and he was there wincing. And I was like, he's not going to play a minute of this game. Like, he's going to be on the bench just kind of there as a mascot.
I was watching the warm-up and it was 15 minutes of They did the whole proper jogging warm-up, that whole thing. And I counted like on 4 separate occasions, like making sure there's only 15 guys there. It's like, Gisli's not there. Did it 3 or 4 times. And then cheers in the arena as he comes ambling in 15 minutes late because he was doing that stuff you mentioned. And I was like, okay, is he here like psychologically, do a little bit of jogging, kind of get in the heads of Kielce? But no. Put the resin on, put a ball in his hand. He held it with his right hand, and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And then I messaged our WhatsApp group, and I was like, oh, he looks okay.
But I did think it was mind games because he didn't start the game. It was Marko Bežák that started the game. So it was like, okay, this is just a bit of mind games, get everyone excited, get everyone nervous, and then
but if he was really never going to play, then the thing that was lingering in my mind all day was like, where's Vlad Lipovina? Because you've only got one left-hander in the backcourt. You've just lost your playmaker. Why not bring in Vlad instead of an injured Kristjansson? So
I do have a very good video I'd like to show you.
Oh, please.
You can put it up on this laptop if...
I've sent it through already to the guys and they should be able to put it up on the screen now.
That's nice.
Some final moments. I think probably one of the favourite things which I shot.
Is this your favourite moment of the weekend?
I think it's just a really nice moment after the game. It's quite a short clip, but here we go. Some post scenes with Gisli. It takes a second to get to him now, but here he is now.
I've never seen so many tears at a Final Four before, from all teams, all weekend.
I mean, I say he can't even believe what he achieved. He was in a sling yesterday, leaving the game.
Oh my days!
Leaving the court today as MVP.
It's absolutely incredible. He's in absolute tears. He's in absolute shock. He recovered by the time I spoke to him, which is the man knows how to recover. That's for sure.
He's like saying, "How did I do it?"
Oh.
I hear the two lads now.
And it's true adversity that Magdeburg went through, and I think that's why the stories, the comebacks, the injuries, they weren't supposed to be there.
No.
It's
like every single one of these players had like a journey this season. We go back to the beginning of the season. The starting lineup was left back Philip Weber, centre back Gisli Kristjansson, right back Omar Ingi Magnusson, in goal Nikola Portner. For the final today, in goal Mike Jensen, right back Kai Smits, centre back Marko Bezjak, left back Mikkel Damgaard. A completely different lineup. And then they go with the two wingers who didn't play a second basically yesterday.
Yeah, that was really interesting.
And Matthias Musche had a stormer at the start. So all these things, like the journeys of the players and how quickly things can change, I think will make me reconsider thinking about a player's journey over a season completely forever, because Marko Bezjak and Christian O'Sullivan they were playing in defence for 60% of the season, and because they were playing in defence, Piotr Krapkowski was the 16th man, sitting on his arse, just like twiddling his thumbs, thinking, okay, I'm going to sit here for the rest of my contract. All of them had a huge role to play this weekend, and Kristjansson coming back, I guess the only really sad thing about all this is that Magnusson couldn't come back to be a part of it. He was there with the team to celebrate, but he's the only one in the end who didn't make a miraculous comeback to be a part of it. Oscar Bergendahl, he had this amazing Euro.
He spent the first half of the season in Stuttgart.
Yeah, he had this amazing...
just chilling out.
Remember, he signed for Stuttgart before that Euro in 2022, had an amazing Euro, best defender of the whole championship, and then everyone was like, oh no, he signed for Stuttgart too early. If he held out a few months, he would have got a big contract. He ends up winning the Champions League.
Unbelievable.
What a year for Oscar Bergendahl. Or what a couple of years,
really. Year and a half.
Going from, kind of
nobody.
Underdog, nobody playing for GOG to a European Championship winner and now a Champions League winner.
And Nina here in the chat saying, Krapkowski has 2 titles, Hansen and Balic, 0. And Mihai, Lipovina is a Champions League winner. That's, it's full of great stories for all the lads.
Yeah, one person you called out in our preview was Nikola Portner. And Bennett Wiegert backstage said something to him and he burst into tears. He whispered something in his ear and I went up and asked him what he said to him. He says, I'm never telling anyone, but I'm delighted for what he said to me. So who knows what that was.
So when I spoke to Nikola after the game, I asked him, because I was actually there, because before I came down from the box and I went into the area where all the Magdeburg players were sitting down and in just pure shock. It was actually a pretty amazing moment where they all came off and they just couldn't believe it. There was no celebration yet. It was pure disbelief. And that was when I saw that moment as well. I asked Nikola Portner about that, or not specifically about that.
He told you, he didn't tell me.
No, but I asked him. So I said, I saw you after the match. You were in shock. What was going through your mind at that stage? And he went into just a beautiful story. He just thought about his very first training session where his dad brought him there, and the journey from that very first training session to where he got today, and all the work that everyone put in, not just him, everyone in his life put in to be there. And I think with those thoughts, a simple message of, your dad is proud would just set you off, I mean,
one of the first things he did was, after the final whistle, he hopped up into the crowd to get the Swiss flag, way up in the stands. That was one of the first things he did. So yeah, big day for Swiss.
2 Swiss Champions League winners now.
Yeah.
You know who the other one is?
Lucas.
Don't say the name.
Meister. He didn't play a minute. Today. Doesn't matter. Because...
So I did promise Lemons that we'd keep this short. I think everyone wants to go home at this stage.
That's true. I'm just still having such a good time. I've had a great time.
A really quick word maybe about Kielce, 2 finals in a row, and I don't know. It kind of feels like, where do you go from here a little bit, doesn't it?
That's true. What we were talking about earlier, and it was just what do they need to win this? And I think the backcourt was definitely a weakness this weekend, but I think the emotional damage at this stage is to such an extent that, it's a much bigger hurdle to get over than it was 2 years
If you're
ago.
4 goals up in a second half and you can't close it out, then you're missing a bit of. But maybe, in a different season when they have a full backcourt rotation and it's not just Alex Dushabayev banging them in, you bring on a couple other guys and they score the 2 goals you need to just keep the thing ticking over.
But
it's done.
They're going to be in the Final Four next year again.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
They are that good.
They are.
And I think as a team, they have a good enough mentality to.
They're going to be the
coming
team
back.
that everyone wants to win next season.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking. And there was a different feel. Like last year was heartbreaking because it was a shootout. Like it was this close. This time it was more like devastation than heartbreak. It's like,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah, they left the court very quickly as well.
But days,
remember Veszprem used to basically be this team where they were the ones that came close. They're the ones that deserved to win
And where are
many
they?
years. And then they kind of dropped off. Of course, they had some changes in coaching and in overall in the club to react to that. I think Kielce is a much more steady organization. They're going to trust Haaland. There's no chance that he's going anywhere. So they'll keep going. But how long can you keep going on the same trajectory before you have to make that change is the question without winning.
But again, it's like such fine margins. Like it's so cruel. It is sport, but it's so cruel that it's like one thing 2 seasons in a row separates you from glory and a sickening silver. But it will, again, what I mentioned about Magdeburg and the players and the journey they had this season, like there will be a bunch of players next year for Kielce who will this is all part of their journey, and they hopefully will get better from it, and we'll have that opportunity again next year. But it's hard to, nobody is thinking about that right now. It's all about today and the last 2 years and the pain that has come from that. Yeah.
Do you remember in the preview we thought Kristjansson was going to be a bit rusty?
Well, he was rusted through, full of holes, and he's still scoring goals. So.
He is a Terminator.
Anyway, should we leave it there then?
I think we'll leave it there. We've had an unbelievable time. It's been potentially one of the, we say this every year, but it really was one of the greatest Final Fours we have ever seen.
2 instant classic games.
Yeah. They're the games that we're going to be rewatching in future Twitch shows at the start of a day. It's going to be these games. So an incredible weekend. Thank you to everyone who behind the scenes who is dying to get home and putting down the studio at the moment. But thank you to everyone who's put this together. A special thank you for Clemens for dreaming up this beautiful Twitch show.
Yeah, the studio gets bigger every year, and that's fine by me. I can't wait to have a lovely sparkling water with you all now.
Oh, yes.
I love it. Thanks for a great weekend, and we'll leave it there.
Good night.